Let's learn about to and so modifiers. And remember, if you need more help, I do have some extra materials linked in the video description below. So check it out. So what is the difference between to and so? Let's actually start with how they are similar. Both to and so are used as modifiers for adjectives and adverbs. For example, I might say, that is too expensive, or that is so expensive. Expensive is my adjective, and to and so modify it. I can also say, she talks too quickly, or she talks so quickly. Quickly is my adverb, and again, to and so modify it. So even though we use them similarly, they do have two different meanings, and I hate to say it, but when you use to incorrectly, you do not sound like a fluent English speaker. Our ears will hear it right away. So, what are we doing wrong and how do we fix it? Let's start with so. So is like very. It is an intensifier and it adds emphasis. It adds extra feeling or emotion. And if you don't know what intensifiers are, I would definitely go back to my video about intensifiers because when you are able to use them correctly, they really do boost your fluency. So, for example, I could say, I am so tired. I need to go to bed early. Or the food is so spicy. My tongue is burning. It's the same as just saying very. I am very tired. The food is very spicy. They're not necessarily positive or negative in meaning. But to is almost always negative, and to means that you are over or sometimes under a limit, or it is more than needed, more than necessary, excessive. All right, let's take a look at the same examples. So now, instead of I am so tired, I might say I am too tired. What does that mean? It means I am over the limit of being able to do things because I am so tired or I can't play right now. So there is a difference. I can say, I am so tired, but I can play one game versus I am too tired and I just can't play right now. Going to the spicy food example, the food can be so spicy, but you might really like it. But if the food is too spicy, then it is over the limit of what my mouth can handle or what I can enjoy. So the food is too spicy and I can't eat it. So we know that too is generally used to communicate a negative message, but what I often hear is people use to with positive adjectives like he is too rich or that movie was too exciting. The sunset was too amazing. Well, would you really say I am too rich? Is being rich a negative thing? Of course, the answer is no, right? I don't know anybody who would say, oh, I have $1 million and now I am too rich. I have to get rid of this money. I can't make any more. No, of course not. Generally, we can't be over the limit on money. Money is limitless, and generally, again, humans always want more. So it doesn't make sense to say somebody is too rich. We would say they are so rich. Likewise, would you say something like, I am too short? And the answer is, yeah, of course you could do that. Remember, we use to for a limit. So let's say you want to ride a roller coaster and there is a height limit. If you are too short, then that means you are under the limit for that ride. And so that's exactly what you would say. All right, so let's do some practices. Read the short scenarios and then match them with the picture. Go ahead and pause the video, and when you're ready for the answers, hit play. All right, how did you do? Let's read the first scenario together. Kay has a new job, but it is very demanding. She has been learning new procedures and spending about 10 hours at work a day. She is too overwhelmed to learn one more thing. So again, too is negative. If she's too overwhelmed, again, she is at her limit. She cannot learn or do one more thing because she is maxed out. What picture best shows that? Picture A. Let's look at the second scenario. Kay loves her new job, even though it is so overwhelming at times. She's not used to managing so many tasks, but she is really organized and feels confident she can be successful. So, of course, what picture is that? Picture B. We see a lot of stuff going on there, but we don't see somebody feeling like they are over the limit like we do with picture A. All right, let's do some more practice with fill in the blanks. So go ahead and read this with a partner or, of course, to yourself and write to or so in the blank. Again, pause the video, write out the answers, and when you're ready for those answers, hit play. Okay, so how'd you do? Let's take a look at number one together. It says the pie was so delicious that I couldn't stop eating it. So delicious is another example of a positive adjective that cannot be over the limit. Something can't be too delicious. Um, there's just no limit to how delicious something can be, right? We don't have a limit on deliciousness. So let's go ahead and read number one together. The pie was so delicious that I couldn't stop eating it. All right, number two. The pie was too hot to eat, so we had to wait for it to cool. In this sentence, the pie is too hot, which means it's over the limit of temperature, right? The temperature is too high for it to be safe for us to eat. It would burn our mouths, right? And so that's why the explanation says that they had to wait for it to cool. It was too hot. Let's read that sentence together. The pie was too hot to eat, so we had to wait for it to cool. Let's look at number three. The book was too long. I couldn't read it all in one weekend. So again, too long is telling us that it was over the limit. It was over the limit of what they could read in one weekend. Let's read number three together. The book was too long. I couldn't read it all in one weekend. Number four, the book was so long that it took 1 month to read. So again, the book was so long or very long, but they were still able to finish it. And they tell us that it took 1 month to do that. Let's read number four together. The book was so long that it took 1 month to read. All right, number five, the box was too heavy for me to lift by myself. All right, so over the limit. It was over the limit of weight that I could lift on my own. Let's read number five together. The box was too heavy for me to lift by myself. All right, so the last one, number six. The box was so heavy that I got a friend to help me lift it. Sometimes students will say, well, wait, miss, like if it's so heavy that you needed a friend to help you, isn't that over the limit? And the answer is no. It might be too heavy for me, but my friend and I together were able to lift it. So if we were able to do it, it wasn't over the limit. Let's go ahead and read number six together. The box was so heavy that I got a friend to help me lift it. Now, before I let you go, I want you to look at the sentences with so. So number one, number four, and number six. Do you notice anything that like all three of those sentences have? If you don't see it, let me help you out. Take a look at the word that comes after the adjective. So, number one, the adjective is delicious, and the word that comes after it is that. Going down to number four, the adjective is long, the word after that. And number six, adjective heavy, and the word after is that. So that is used a lot when we're using it as a modifier. So if you're not sure in a multiple choice question if you should use to or so, and you see that, the answer is use so. Okay, so how do you feel? Is this a lot more clear to you now? Do you feel more confident in using to and so in your speaking? If you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks so much for watching.